All right, microphone is working. We're good on the mic. All right. All right, can you guys hear me now? All right, cool. So that's all working. Start recording this. See if we can hear. I'm gonna do a test real quick. I'm gonna check on my phone. Right. See if we can hear. All right, cool. All right, so we are live. I've got some really good news. Probably the best news of all, to be honest with you. And I want to really take the moment, not even much to talk about myself, but to actually highlight some really good work that other people are doing. And so I'm going to wait a little bit longer, keep you guys a little bit more on edge, and just going to build up the suspense a little bit because honestly, why not? We're here. It's a Friday. You know, everybody's here in the house. And I hear that we got some special people that might be interested in attending today, so we'll give it a little bit of time. We'll give some people the option to come in, say hello in the chat, make yourselves be known. Spam the chat if you want to. No, I'm just kidding, but you know, keep it PC. And yeah, we've got some really good news for you guys today. So just waiting on a couple more people to get in. And for some it's a Saturday, that's right. That's right. For some it is indeed a Saturday. So hello to all y'all from the far East Coast. You know, all the Europe, Asia, and wherever the heck else people are watching from. Oddly enough, I got a message for somebody recently that's still from Australia. Other than the T Perth Scientology audit, somebody else from Australia said hello, which is cool. Like, bro, come on now. You have the whole world that just tunes into a stream, and just the fact that anybody cares to listen. Ireland, there we go. What up? What up? Who else we got in the house, man? Who else we got in here? Who else? But yeah, I was like, wow, you know, it's really easy to forget. You have people from all over planet Earth tuning in for just this one topic, let alone the other stuff, which is great. Like, never before could you have this big audience all with a cell phone and a laptop. So yeah, I'm gonna give it just a little bit more time here. I'll give it another minute or two for people to come on in and see how y'all are doing. Hope you're enjoying your day. For some of you, it might be your evening. For others, it might be your Saturday. Somebody said it's a federal voting day here. That's right. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Always love to see people exercising and living up to their civic duty. That's always a good thing. So give it just a little bit more time for people to roll in. Let the suspense build just one more minute. Let people roll on in here, see what they do, see what's good, see what's popping, and eventually we'll let it we'll let the good times roll here just real quick. But yeah, how are you all doing? You have to vote. Oh, interesting. Is that tied, by the way, to some sort of... I know in some places they actually will cut your wages. They'll take it straight from your paycheck. Where if you don't vote, they will garnish your wages until such time that you do vote. Is that the case for where you're at? Where if you don't vote, they'll cut wages and all this other nonsense. Because I know for some places they do that. Other places you'll supposedly there's a fine. Okay, so there's a fine. Okay. Yeah, I mean, more or less that. It's, I don't know, maybe it's a good incentive for people to actually get off their butts and, you know, do what they're supposed to. But what do I know? I'm just a guy streaming on a computer. Not in Ireland. Ah, interesting. Yeah, well, I mean, it's usually more it is a good, yeah, I would agree it is a good thing. I think predominantly it's pushing people to do their civic duty, right? I mean, in the US, for example, every election cycle for every elected position, there are significantly less and less people showing up. And basically what that means, right, is you have the same population of demographics showing up that's being representative in the polls. And so that skews things quite a bit. All right. Enough dilly-dallying. I think we got enough people that are here in attendance. What up, everybody? Before I start things off, I just want to first say that I really appreciate everybody's support during this past year. I know that many other people have definitely needed the support far more than I have. And so I want to take this time to formally thank you all for your support, not just financially, not just morally and spiritually through the, you know, positive messages, not just for the information on where to get stuff and who to contact, but just overall the fact that there's anybody even tuning into any of this is freaking amazing. And so for that, I want to thank you guys because, again, none of this would be possible without the age of the internet. And so I have you guys to thank for that. I appreciate the support. And really that thank you is targeted to those that really care, you know, not the crazy people that will troll and just do some of the most blatantly dumb and criminal acts, oddly enough, all captured on video, as if somehow that's not gonna catch up to you. But anyway, that's my little rant on that. So I want to first say that I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here time and time again. And so with that, I have some very good news. Some tremendous news regarding my court case. And before I dive right into it, again, just another positive message that just know for those that did donate, all of that money went to 100% being used for lawyer fees, period. That is pure objective fact. You have the absolute most assurance that not only did it go for the just lawyer fees, it also led to a very successful outcome. A very, very successful outcome. So all of it went to lawyer fees, and the outcome of the lawyer fees was phenomenally successful. So I appreciate everybody on that donated, both on the GoFundMe. I really appreciate it. So thank you, everybody. So what happened for the court case, right? What actually happened? What's the sitch? What's the deal? Well, here it is. As the title suggests, okay, Hydee Feldstein Soto is objectively corrupt. 100% objectively corrupt. And big parts of that were outed in my case. And what ended up happening in my case is that the entire case got totally dropped. The case is dropped. It's dismissed with prejudice. It's gone. Just like that South Park episode where they go to donate money to the bank, and it's gone. The whole thing is gone. The case is gone. It's all dismissed. It's gone away. But the beautiful part really is not just that the case was gone, okay? It's not just that. That's not really the big highlight. The big highlight is the why is the case gone, and specifically why the case dragged on for so long. These are more important questions. Now you might ask, why are they more important than the case being dropped and dismissed with prejudice? Why is that more important? Well, for a couple of reasons, okay? First and foremost, it is by and far acknowledged by the city attorney herself via an interview I did where she didn't even realize I was the person interviewing her. She assumed that I was yet another bootlicker at a public event that she could speak earnestly to and essentially let her disdain of the public be, aired out without any repercussions. So I caught her red-handed, okay? She admitted that my case, for her knowledge, was completely bogus, utterly frivolous, without merit, and essentially as a favor. And in no other case in history has a one count of vandalism where admittedly both by law enforcement and by the deputies on record admitting as such, prosecutors that is, never has there ever been a case of vandalism where there's never been any evidence provided to actually verify and show that the alleged thing being vandalized was actually vandalized. That's first. And never in any history, right? Never in any history of Los Angeles law has it also been the case that the prosecution of such a case has gone on for this long. With the express knowledge, right, that prosecutors knew it was a completely frivolous case. They knew that it was a favor being done. They knew that so many other factors were contributing to making this a really dangerous case, not just for their own office, meaning the prosecutor's office, but each and every other co-conspirator that went through this grand scheme to suppress somebody's liberties, to put somebody's life in utter jeopardy, to utterly try and ruin them, only to be caught utterly red-handed. And what I'm going to do in the next coming days here is I'm just waiting for a final go-ahead so that I can publish all of the records and exhibits I've obtained so far and put it all out there for people. Because in my knowledge of going through the LA court system, when it comes to obtaining records, holy crap, is it impossible to try to get some court records and make it easily accessible. LA is the one area I honestly have had the most trouble, despite how modern a lot of the systems they use are. It's virtually impossible to get digitized records without spending an arm and a leg, which is utterly ridiculous to begin with. But it's anyway. That's my promise to you, the public, that you will have access to the exhibits, the correspondence, all these records pertaining to this case be made freely public. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in a couple places. One place is actually, I'll go back to this image you're seeing here because I want to explain this next. But one page is actually this GitHub page I have on my cult audit GitHub page, where I've been storing a lot of different records over time. And eventually you'll see here all the different files, both video files, as well as the PDF files of the exhibits uploaded here. You can download it, and you can share it as you wish, so forth. And so that's my promise to you guys, because the thing I've always hated the most, quite frankly, not just in this movement, but every court case and movement ever, is the fact that when it comes to actual court proceedings, everybody sort of just takes the word of what people are saying as what happened, but rarely, if ever, do they actually upload the damn filings themselves, which is stupid. Anybody that doesn't actually publicly share those filings and instead makes people have to pay or go out of their way to figure out what your case number is, who the parties are, what the representation is, and on, all this other stuff, it's just unnecessary. It adds a stupid amount of burden, and it's, in this day and age, it's really easy to publicly share files like this. And so that's where you can expect it. My official GitHub page here for my cult audit account. And I'll do a more comprehensive review. I'll break down each of these steps for people. I'm going whole hog. I'm explaining the entire case. And just also know that the fact that this case got dropped is not the end of my grievances with this case. There will be subsequent civil action against many of the parties that conspired to utterly not only suppress my freedoms, but really put my life in jeopardy for something that is very clearly and blatantly and utterly, right, utterly just corruption, collusion, and in the dumbest of ways, quite frankly. The thing that's fascinated me about LA is that there are many criminals and corruption is rampant and in your face. But the way that they do the damn crimes is so stupid because they just do it out in the open. It's right there out in the damn open for everybody to see. And I am honestly shocked. And I don't even think at this point it's for just sheer corruption. I am honestly shocked at the magnitudes of utter incompetence at every level, particularly though at the city level, for not prosecuting this crap. I mean, this isn't even like that deep of a dive. This doesn't require that many brain cells, but somehow, repeatedly, time and time again, the city prosecutors of LA, both at the DA level and at the city attorney level, but particularly at the city attorney level, are some of the most utterly incompetent folks I have ever seen. And frankly, it truly amazes me. I have never seen a city and county anywhere on planet Earth that has the vast amount of resources, the vast amount of infrastructure, and the vast amount of support that LA has, yet utterly, repeatedly, miserably fail left and right and trip on everything. Tripping on things that aren't even there. How does that happen? There's this old quote that says something to the tune of, don't blame something on conspiracy and corruption when you can actually point to incompetence. That's frankly what it is for most of LA City. Most of LA City is just that. And at the state level, for the state laws, frankly, California has some of the best damn laws on planet Earth, especially in America, but on planet Earth. And yet the enforcement and the consistency of such is just down the toilet. And so that any taxpayer money was wasted on prosecuting my case is stupid. And there was quite a large team behind overseeing my case and my case alone. Hydee knows very well about me. She absolutely knew about me 100 bajillion percent. Okay? 100 bajillion percent. Despite the fact that when William publicly confronted her back at the Palm Springs Neighborhood Council, she claimed she didn't know who the hell I was. That's a lie, Hydee. And I recorded you at the SOHA, the Sherman Oaks Homeowners Association, interviewed you, and you admitted on reporting at a public meeting that you knew about the case, you knew who I was, and you knew that it was all frivolous. But you dragged it on anyway, Hydee. You dragged it on for about a year, the same length of time that you even have to file the damn suit. You dragged it on for that long. That's what you did, Hydee. I didn't do that. My dog didn't do that. The weather didn't do that. You did that, Hydee. You did that. And for who did you do it for, right? That's the biggest kicker of all this. Why would you go so out of your way? I mean, we all know they're major political donors, right? That's a fact, right? We know that. Just like for Bass, just like for you too. But of all of your political affiliates and supporters, why would you utterly try and ruin your career in the most pitiful of ways? It's mind-boggling. But that's your choice, right? You have the option to make that choice. Nobody can take that choice away from you. And now you have to live with the consequences of what such, frankly, frivolous actions at best. Frivolous at best, right? Frivolous at best. Along with the many other people that are involved in this whole rigmarole. So that's your Los Angeles city attorney. That's what your Los Angeles tax dollars are going towards. Not the multitudes of other violent crimes that are so clearly documented by people for years, and that you guys have had access to official records verifying as such. Court records and countless victim witness statements, right? Of all of those far, far more critical matters, you chose to prosecute this for a year, Hydee. That's what you did. And you did it for Scientology. I mean, I keep saying this, but Scientology, first of all, was never even my focus or interest. I frankly didn't really care much about Scientology. I just wanted to use Scientology because they are literally the dumbest criminal organization I have ever laid my eyes on. They blatantly do criminal shit left and right, out in broad daylight, easily documented time and time again, on video, on court records, with tons and crap loads of witnesses and victims who all corroborate the same damn story. And all of these victims and witnesses do not know each other or have any other affiliations with each other than they were victimized by Scientology. And yet they keep not getting prosecuted. Repeatedly, again and again, they keep not getting prosecuted. But yet, repeatedly, the people that do get prosecuted, who are they, Hydee? The public deserves to know. The public is entitled to know that answer. Who are they, Hydee? Who are the individuals and organizations getting prosecuted? Well, I'll tell you. Because you clearly don't know with your repeat pattern of behavior. It's the people speaking out on it. You're kicking out disabled women in wheelchairs out of public meetings. You're not honoring cure and corrects. And your deputies are not prosecuting people that are illegally canceling official public government meetings without any notice. That's you, Hydee. That's you. That is all within your wheelhouse. You repeatedly choose not to do that. That's your legacy, Hydee. And I'm going to make damn sure that all of LA County knows it. Elections are coming up, and I'm going to make sure that everybody knows about this blunder. Because this case, and it's cases like this, and I'll lead into this in the next part that I want to talk about. It's cases like this that are clearly so utterly dumb, so clearly frivolous, so clearly meritless, and so clearly done in conspiracy and collusion that demonstrate a pattern of malicious prosecution, selective enforcement, so on and so forth. These are the things that actually catch people. Just because you have a court case does not mean it is in and of itself legitimate. And the prosecutors have a duty. They have a duty to do what, Hydee? The prosecutors have a duty to make sure that the cases that are brought forward do not involve outright civil rights violations, do not outright involve corruption, which in this case, the selective prosecution is clearly grounds for maliciously going after me, right? And you have an ethical responsibility to honor your oath as a practicing attorney under the rule of the California State Bar to not behave in such a way. But yet you do. And I'm not the only one. And if you don't think this case is not career breaking, I'm telling you right now, it is. This is the kind of stuff that gets people disbarred, that gets the feds to knock on your door, that gets you prosecuted in return. It's game over. It is game over with this nonsense. It really is game over. This is it. And I want to explain what I mean by that. Again, just because there's a court case does not mean that it is a legitimate one. Okay? And what I mean by that is this. Just because you're in the court system doesn't mean that your case in and of itself is a good one. I've listened to, and I actually have recordings of the videos for Scott's case and for what happened in other people's cases. I'll tell you what. All right? I'll tell you what. Scott has, unfortunately, a lot to be worried about, particularly on the felony vandalism charge. He's got a lot to worry about there. And that is the perspective of somebody who went through this crap, who knows way too much about that specific issue. And the biggest differentiator in my case, there were many. The biggest differentiator in my case was the fact that I never actually took any sort of equipment and actually destroyed anything. That's the biggest differentiator. I never had any pliers or hammers. That didn't happen. I didn't actually destroy anything. And when I saw the exhibits for Scott's case, he did do that. That's not an opinion. That's not anything but simply rehashing specifically what he did to the planter box. The man literally took a hammer and literally took giant metal shears and utterly beat the crap out of a planter box. I never did any of that. In my case, what happened is the equivalent of the following. You go into a parking lot, you come across a nasty Karen-like personality, okay? And your shoulder accidentally, just very briefly and gently touches somebody's car as you're walking to the storefront. There was no cuts to the paint or the metal. You didn't slash any tires. You didn't throw any rocks. You didn't do none of that. Simply put, your elbow touched their car, and they're claiming vandalism. That is not vandalism at all. Not destruction of any property. Point, period, blank. That was one of the many biggest differentiators in my case. Number 2 was also the fact that there was crap loads of other people literally doing the same thing, not only on that day, but on a previous day as well, who were never prosecuted. Only I was. Only I was. Same exact behavior, same exact date, except only I was. And number 3, okay, the fact that the material was literally shown on the 17th being in completely good standing. Nothing was destroyed. And that's totally different than what Scott did in his case on that one specific felony charge. All right. He's going to have a virtually impossible battle because he literally did it. And that is what courts, unfortunately, and fortunately, and the jury will look at. That's just what it is. And something that people don't understand about LA prosecutors is that, with the exception of one guy who I'll mention here, they are honestly the biggest, just the nicest thing I could say about them is they're just the biggest scumbags. Point, period, blank. They're the biggest scumbags ever. Anybody that watched the ASAP Rocky case, anybody that's ever tuned into any other case, either just in person or otherwise that's been video streamed, those prosecutors do not have reverence for the law. They don't. They just don't care. They do not have reverence for the law. If it was another state, like a New York state, and even in New York state, yeah, certain counties only, or if it was a place like Massachusetts where they have very strong reverence for the law, it would be a different story. But it's not. It's LA. You just don't get it. You really just don't get it. And I knew all of this would happen, right? I knew that on the 16th, it was really to see what is it that the city government is going to do. For a completely meritless, frivolous instance, what were they going to do? How many other people were they going to implicate in this whole shenanigan? And it was perfect because, again, there was multiple other people that did the same thing. There was no violence whatsoever involved at all. I have zero violent history, period. And I would dare say, as my own opinion, I have a better track record on my background than Hydee does. And many other prosecutors, and especially LAPD officers, where they're literally getting, these officers are having DWIs left and right and still being on the force. Just utter nonsense. So that's the uphill battle that Scott is going to have. And honestly, I don't even get why, other than what I could speculate only as sheer and utter incompetence, why would you go and take a freaking hammer, bro, and take a giant set of pliers or scissors or gardening shears, whatever, bolt cutters? It's stupid. It's utterly stupid. There's no coming back from that. And what do you expect to gain? You're not going to get any special magical information. And you didn't need to go to that extent to get any special magical information in the first place. My case is already the perfect case for it. Literally, in my case, we discovered that they have no invoices for the netting. There is none. They have no invoices for anything. There's no invoices. And several people just made crap up in all the police reports, implicating themselves left and right. There was never a need to catch felonies for any of that crap. There was never a need to take out freaking equipment to do anything to expose any of this stuff. I mean, again, utterly incompetent. Totally incompetent, moronic behavior. That is the best that I could possibly sum it up with. And even worse, Scott did not attend much of any city meetings. He is not known to the city other than a nuisance. He did not petition the Board of Public Works. He didn't show up consistently. He didn't host the meetings. He did it a handful of times and then literally dropped the entire damn ball. He didn't research the municipal codes. He didn't bother writing. He didn't bother showing up, even remotely. And so they don't know you. And you didn't push for anything to happen. And again, it was already in part because of my case, because it came out, okay? And because of the public push, that we have evidence that there was, in fact, a city order acknowledging that what they did was unlawful and that they were ordered to remove the netting and the planters, and they were fined for it. No need to catch felonies for any of that. That's the best that could have ever come out of that entire fiasco. Okay? That hard evidence, verifying as such. What more do you honestly expect or think you're going to get? That was it. On one count. That was a totally frivolous case to begin with. And the best part about my case is that it proved how fast they moved on it. I mean, ridiculous. On this case, within a week, they moved to immediately push it to the city attorney's office from the date in question, which was June 16th, 2024. They immediately moved on it within a week to push it to Hydee's office, and then wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, charges. You didn't need anything else to show other than just this case that there was clear collusion and that they favorite Scientology. There you go. Over and done with. This one case. That's it. That's all it took. And just to keep your mouth shut and not be an utter buffoon for the next couple of months. But no. Apparently some people can't do that. Either they don't want to, they're incapable of, or some combination of both. So there you go. Those are some of the biggest things taken away from my case, and the names of the detectives and other officers that were responsible for outright lying on reports, making crap up as they went along, as well as who the Scientologists involved in writing all sorts of bogus nonsense. I now have the name of the other mole inside Northeast that did all this. I have their name. Right? I have the name of the Scientologist that made the police report. And I have the name of the officers who not only took the report, but all the other handshaking that went on to shuffle it back and forth in a very, very favorable way. And never was there ever a need to catch felonies for any of this. Never was there a need to be behaving like an utter moron for any of this. So again, what happened as a result of my case? We have names of all the LAPD officers at Northeast who are in the pockets of Scientology and of the city attorney. That anything to do with any public critics, we have their names. We have verifiable proof that there was never any invoices, and they knew from the get-go, and they never provided any such information to prove that there was actually any damages and what the cost of this supposed material would be. We have the length of time it took from police report to charges, which is the fastest fucking turnaround I've ever fucking seen in my life. Ever. Not just in LA, but ever on planet Earth. Talking about a week. A week turnaround from police report to charges. A week. That's crazy. What happened to all the other complaints that people have been lodging against the blatant criminal shit? Talking about when Chris got utterly battered on the street. We're talking about when Chris on a Hellcat got repeatedly illegally detained. We're talking about Patrick Perry assaulting several people repeatedly. We're talking about the what's his name? That punk rock kid over at La Poubelle that went and picked fights left and right and ended up breaking Will's nose. None of those were prosecuted. They all went to the trash can or whatever the hell else Hydee throws all these cases in. And here's the worst one of it all, okay? Here's the worst one, and I have hard evidence for this. And what about the fact that Wendell showed up on Fountain Avenue with a machete, sexually harassing a child? What about that? What about that? Well, I'll tell you what about that. I'll tell you what about that case. It was never prosecuted, Hydee. You chose not to prosecute the damn case, Hydee. I have proof that you chose not to prosecute that damn case, Hydee. And that it's not your first time doing shady crap like this. That's what happened with that, Hydee. That's what happened with all these other cases and instances where there was clear and blatant criminal shit happening by direct Scientologists or agents of, which is fashionably the same, of Scientology. That's what you did, Hydee. And you did it repeatedly, Hydee. Over and over again. For a year plus. That's your legacy. Hydee Feldstein Soto, Los Angeles City Attorney, does not prosecute criminal acts by agents of and or direct entities and individuals related to Scientology. That's you, Hydee. Same for LAPD. But just because LAPD won't make an arrest doesn't mean that the city attorney can't prosecute. It's not 100% like this magical thing about a prosecution case being 100% incumbent on LAPD on making an arrest to prosecute. That's not how, it's not necessary at all. It's not necessary. But that's what you're choosing to do, Hydee. And you're getting outed for it, and you're gonna get outed for it repeatedly. I'm gonna make sure that this entire rest of the year and into 2026, that people know what you did, Hydee. Because you don't walk away from stuff like this on a career path unscathed. This is damning stuff right here. This is truly damning stuff. And of all the people that you would do it for, again, I keep saying this, the dumbest criminal enterprise I have ever laid my eyes on is Scientology, bar none. It is so blatantly stupid and so blatantly public and in your face. And there's been mountains of court cases showing as such that either it's corruption, incompetency, or a good mixture of both, erring more on the corruption side, that they're not getting prosecuted for. So that's City Attorney Hydee Feldstein Soto's legacy. And I'll be following up on it more and more. And, right, somebody said the people that kept spitting on William. Or what about the people that stole phones? Scott got his phone taken when he was at La Poubelle. A guy literally took his phone. Or there was that other guy also at La Poubelle that sucker punched Scott repeatedly and wailed on him. What about that guy, Hydee? Why doesn't he get prosecuted? It's all on video. All of it. Why aren't they prosecuted? Why is it repeatedly the case that exclusively just those that dare criticize publicly your political affiliates, that you swing the ban hammer at them with full might? Okay? But yet, your supporters, you do nothing to hold them accountable. Well, I would love to know. The public is entitled to know. You owe them that. So that's your legacy, Hydee. That's you. That's the whole takeaway from my case. And I didn't need to catch any felonies for it. That's the lesson learned here. There was no need. There was no need. And I'm going to move now to the next segment of my little rant, which is, so what do we do next? What's the work left next? What is it that people can do and put their efforts to other than be stupid gossiping hens on a stupid panel stream talking about the most asinine things that nobody ever freaking cares? And then complaining left and right that people are saying mean stuff to you when you literally are doing the dumbest stuff to provoke and incite it back and forth. What else can you dedicate your time and energy to other than the most utterly idiotic, moronic, and childish shit I've ever seen in my fucking life? What else can you actually do to help? Well, I'll tell you. What you're looking at, this screenshot, and don't worry, again, this is going to be a whole video series. Not that my court cases are done. People are going to catch the accountability hands, so to speak. Left and right, because there's been a lot of shit that I've kept my mouth shut on, primarily because I wanted to sit back and watch, do research, and have all the facts in order. But people are going to catch the accountability hands left and right. And so what can you do to support? Well, I'll give you a fucking great example of what somebody has done in the past year to actually make a big fucking difference. Not just smoke and mirror shit, not just talking out of their ass or doing some weird fucking, I don't even know what. But actual laws being made and written And in this case, it's Utah State. And this 100% is all the result of Chanel and Deb over at Stand Against Fear and Exploitation, the safe nonprofit. And what they did here is in 2024, they worked with the Utah State Legislature to pass Senate Bill 158. What the fuck is Senate Bill 158? It's very simple. I'll summarize it, and I'm going to do more in-depth shit with it later. Here is what Senate Bill 158 says, and it is, in fact, active law as we speak right now in the state of Utah. Senate Bill 158 requires that for religious entities, they must conduct thorough background checks and report said background checks on their staff. People that especially have history of sexual abuse, and especially those, doubly so, that have sexual abuse history with children. There is a particular registry, and it must be mandated to be publicly reported to the state, and the people can see this registry. Holy fuck, the fact that this didn't exist, and I guarantee you Utah is not even the only state where this is an issue. But this is a fucking law. And this is what they did. They dedicated over a year of their time to make this fucking happen. This is one of the biggest issues. The biggest fucking issues that is in America. The use of the religious veil to hide behind and do a fuckload of criminal shit and just paint it red and say, well, it's a religious thing, you wouldn't get it, so we're going to go back to committing all sorts of atrocities. This is a full shout out to Chanel, her partner Deb, and the SAFE organization. It's not a fucking foundation either, Scott. For the bajillionth fucking time. Dumbest person I swear I've ever fucking met in my life. It's not a foundation. I'll say it another time. It's not a foundation. Just to make sure my mic didn't cut off, it's not a goddamn foundation, Scott. It's not a foundation. Did you get that yet? It's not a foundation. Just because you say it loudly doesn't mean that it's true, Scott. It is not a foundation. Did you hear that yet, though? I just want to make sure. Because I don't feel a need to scream at the top of my lungs or yell shit out to feel smarter or to feel the need that I'm getting a message out. I can just simply say it in a calm, rational state. It's not a foundation. Now that we've got that settled. This is what Chanel and her staff have been working for long goddamn time. And it was passed. And we're going to see down here all of the docket activity for Senate Bill 158. Effective May 2025. May 1st, 2025. Happy fucking birthday to Senate Bill 158. Happy goddamn fucking birthday to Senate Bill 158. All this shit is lining up perfectly. My case was dismissed yesterday on May the 1st, and this bill fucking passed May the 1st. Happy goddamn fucking birthday to Senate Bill 158. That is something we should all be fucking cheering at the top of our goddamn lungs. Because what it means is it's laid the foundation to prosecute all these criminal entities that are hiding behind the religious fucking veil. And to set the goddamn precedent for other states all across America that this is now going to be the gold standard. So what can you do? Go fucking advocate that your goddamn state has the same fucking law. Senate Bill 158 should be the fucking universal standard on planet Earth, let alone just the state of Utah. That is what you can fucking do. Go advocate to have your state and whatever goddamn country that you're in also advocate for a copy of Senate Bill 158. That's what you can do. What else can you do? You can actually show up to your city and state meetings, whether it be you're writing to your assembly members or whether it be you're calling in virtually. And by the way, LA, if you just want to do the LA ones, do that. Call into the damn meetings. But you actually have to do something productive. Not just sit parked for 7+ hours, day in and day out, and essentially be a gossiping, annoying hen. Really. With the literary skills of a child. Instead of dedicating your attention to that shit, this is what you can actually do. Right? And that doesn't go out just to Scott. That goes out to everybody, period. What the world needs more of, and especially the LA area, is competent journalists to actually show up at government meetings where there's actual fucking power and literally laws being made, like Chanel and Deb have taken a good chunk of their goddamn lives to pass Senate Bill 158. All that energy, this is how you should fucking channel it. Attend city meetings, petition your state legislature, and support court cases by attending. Those are 3 concrete ways, but make sure the cases you're supporting are actually legitimate cases. I saw the shit that happened in Pearl Snappy's case. Pearl, come on. That was so fucking moronic. You approached that man with such sheer aggression. You know you have your blessings to count at the fact that it was let go. That was so clear that you escalated that situation. Stupid. Utterly stupid. You fucked up, Pearl. That was a stupid case. And it makes the rest of us all look like morons. Utterly stupid. From somebody that 100% does know better. Pearl, I'm talking about you. You escalated that situation. What the fuck are you doing, Pearl? Dumb as fuck. That was stupid and you know it. That was not a good case. It was not a good case to show anything. What information was obtained from that case that helped say anything else? What? What special and valuable information? What secret insider information did you get? Other than the simple exhibits that were on your video stream to show that you escalated the fucking thing. Nothing. Stupid case. Okay? Stupid case. Utterly stupid case. Then, talking about other stupid cases, you have somebody, aka Nance Drew, that for the life of me, I don't know why you think you can hide behind a court case and make it seem like you can't talk about any of this stuff and that the public won't find out about what you're doing. You clearly had a public defender, but you lied about it. And you made up all this other shit. Did you not think I was going to get access to your court cases, Nance Drew, Nancy Millam? I mean, how stupid is this? It's people like this, and I've seen it countless other movements, that they essentially just put a stain on everything, right? It's just a giant stain on the people that's 1% of people that are actually effectively trying to push a positive narrative and lobby government to do the right thing, right? These are the dumb cases that make people seem crazier than Scientology, frankly. These are the cases. These are the cases that make the rest of us seem crazier than Scientology. And I mean, Scott's doing a great job with that, but he's not the only one. You have Pearl literally going up and escalating a situation with a Scientologist. Over what, Pearl? Over fucking chalk? How old are you, Pearl? Are you 5 years old? Seriously. And your significant other. Selfless. What the fuck are you doing? We're talking about grown-ass adults here fighting about chalk. That's some weirdo shit, man. That doesn't attract a bigger audience. Or the weirdos over at L. Ron Hubbard Way that are that are going after kids. I mean, this is stupid. Just like they say in The Sopranos, man, you don't have the makings of a varsity athlete. You really fucking don't. You don't have the makings of a varsity athlete. Just cut the shit out. Seriously. Just stop. I don't know what the fuck happened. You know, I don't know if it's an ego thing. I don't know if it's, you know, feeling like, oh, look, there's a couple people that are watching, and that somehow, you know, spikes your adrenaline and dopamine levels, and you do some dumb shit. But this is rookie shit. Utterly rookie shit. It's abysmal. And honestly, like, again, what are you doing? What are you doing? Well, we know what you're not doing, right? What you're not doing is helping pass legislation that's actually helpful. The cases like the one I saw Surge talking about. Senate Bill 158 100% helps cases like the one Surge is talking about fucking utterly crush it in court. Not sitting there with giant bolt cutters destroying Scientology planters, which we already established, right? Already fucking established is illegal. You did not need to take the damn bolt cutters and hammer and beat the crap out of it to establish that. You didn't fucking need to do that. And Pearl, you didn't need to yell at a Scientologist over chalk to make a point. It's dumb shit. Utterly dumb shit. And I'll tell you what. In the times that I was there in June, I know why they hate me so much. I know why Scientology hates me so much, okay? Let's rewind back to Cement Gate. Anybody remember Cement Gate? Anybody remembers where I helped stop? And by the way, you know, because Scott is so big on giving credit, right? Scott, you know, if you're so big on giving credit and making sure that people get credit, well, I'm going to make sure I credit myself on this one, Scott. Okay, I'm going to make damn sure that I credit myself on this one. Because it was actually me, Scott. It was, in fact, actually me talking to the officer that day and explaining to them line by line that what they were looking at was not, in fact, a permit. It was actually me. I was the one that sat there with the responding LAPD officers during, I believe it was June the 3rd at the fucking crack of 7 a.m. where they were trying to dump, I don't even know how many fucking tens of thousands of pounds of cement. They were doing major illegal construction, or trying to anyway, on foundation repairs. Who the fuck was there to stop that? It was me, Scott. I actually have experience with construction at this scale. And I sat there with the cop, line by line, explaining. And I got to see, by the way, how much it cost them. They prepaid that crew. You know that, Scott. Or at least you would if you actually did any fucking due diligence. They prepaid. You know how much they paid? You know how much I fucked them over that day, Scott? Do you know how much money I fucked them over on that day? It was big six-figure type of money, Scott. They prepaid for everything. For all the manual labor crew that were there to guide the hose and set the cement, from the truck driver to the machine, to all the other machinery, they prepaid them, Scott. That one day, in under an hour, I cost Scientology 6 fucking figures, Scott. Of course I knew they were super fucking mad at me. Of fucking course I knew that they would try and do some dumb shit and curry favor with city officials. The question was whether the city would take them up on their bullshit or not. But I did that, Scott. And I also was the one to find out that same company had relations all the way back east, where a local company affiliated with the fucking guy who, by the way, I found out the information of, all the general contractor that owns the fucking company, the name of his wife, the name of all his kids, where they all went to school, what other business affiliations they had. I gave that information to you, Scott. I found it out. And I'm the one that found out they have affiliations on the East Coast, and they were the ones harassing my family on the East Coast. They're affiliates. These morons fucking showed up in the dead of winter. One of their... It was so stupid. On the 28th of December, which is either the 27th or 28th. I can't remember the day that I went to the Worcester police station. But I was there visiting my family for the holidays. And wouldn't you fucking know it, some dumbasses come by only my folks' house, right? Only their house. And by the way, we had cameras. So it was stupid. Only their house. And what do? These morons fucking sell landscaping services. There was fucking feet of snow that were dumped in Massachusetts the day before. There was snow covering everywhere. Snow up to your fucking nostrils. And these Scientology fucking morons offer what? They offer landscaping services. I mean, yeah, who the fuck is gonna cut their grass in the middle of fucking winter? The dumbest criminal enterprise I've ever seen in my goddamn life. There's shitloads of cameras at their house filming everything, and the dumbest thing they could ever do, they show up just to my folks' house and try to sell them fucking landscaping services. This is Scientology, guys. You can't make this shit up. How much more suspicious do you want to make it? There's a fucking meme where, what is it? It's not Snoop Dogg. It's the guy from Pimp My Ride. I forget his name. Where he literally shows up and there's a meme that's something like, "Yo dog, I heard you like windows, so I gave you a window or whatever for your window." Or, "How high are you? 5'10". That's Scientology. They're a fucking meme with how they do their criminal shit. It's laughable, honestly. And the only reason they've gotten away with it for this long is because there frankly has not been that many competent people to light a fire under people's asses. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. That's who Scientology is. Never had my folks ever had an issue up until this point, right? Nor I. And so it's so fucking clearly related and directly connected to Scientology. It's stupid. Okay? It's stupid. And all that does, right, is just link their criminal shit across state lines. That's all it does. That's all it fucking does. But apparently there seem to be people dumber than Scientology. There honestly seems to be people dumber than Scientology. Can't fucking read to save their life. And somehow pretend that they know what the fuck they're talking about. Apparently, guys. Exhibit. Oh yeah, Exhibit was Pimp My Ride. Yeah. That's the kind of shit they do. It's so stupid. I keep saying this because it seems like they're competing with each other to how much more dumber they can do something or they can be. So yeah. But for those asking, this is the real work left. Not just for this movement, but for any movement, frankly. For every movement, it always goes like this. Morons come around wanting the viral hype, and so you kind of use them and their clownish ways to hack the algorithm, air quotes hack, by basically having shitloads of other people covering the same content at some place like the test center, and then taking it all across social media platforms. The movement gets super viral. It attracts a lot of different kinds of people. And then eventually the weeding out process begins. Who are the batshit crazy people that are fucking crazier than the corrupt criminals that you're trying to out versus, the people that are actually competent and can do good journalistic work? Who are those people? And that's what's left next. The people that show up to city meetings, the people that write, do street interviews, that educate people, and how they essentially teaching them how they can do advocacy work. That's the fucking goal. And when you take a look at competent journalists, right? Like William, even though I don't agree with everything he fucking says and does, the one thing that William is good at is he's a good journalist. That's what a journalist is supposed to do. You're supposed to teach people not only what's going on, but how they can do something about it too. And that's what he does. What has William done in that regard? He's shown exactly how the complaint process works. He's shown all the different hierarchical structures and how the city is organized. He's shown where to go get information. That's what people need. That's what every movement needs to be successful. And he's shown, frankly, I think this is also pretty funny. He's shown all the different SOC accounts that I know for a fact many of the LAPD officers use to troll people on all these social platforms. It's fucking hilarious. Honestly, it's really fucking hilarious. The fact of the matter is, it is true that a good chunk of the LAPD on a daily basis, as back in the test center days and even now, but particularly the test center days, would literally fucking camp out on their shit bucket SUVs and make troll accounts and fuck with people. That's your LAPD right there. That's the glorious LAPD. In addition, of course, to the millions of, Sea Org slaves that are creating bot accounts, right? That one's a given. But, yeah. So, that's what the next segment looks like. People like Audit LA who fucking show up. And for all you that do have the means and yet keep making excuses, for fuck's sake, these meetings are virtual. If Audit LA can commit to something, given all the shit that she has to go through, then why the fuck can't a man that has no job, no commitments, do the same? Why can't all these other internet weirdos that are the classic fucking 1A frauditors and these other creepo shitbags, why can't they do the same? Why can't they fucking do the same? And that's how you win any movement. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about fucking Scientology. Okay? They're simply a symptom of government corruption and lack of government accountability. And Scientology is not the only one, right? Scientology is one of many criminal rackets. That's the fucking fact. And anybody that thinks this is exclusively about Scientology, you're fucking dumber than Scott is. Swear to God, you're dumber than Scott is. This is not about Scientology. This is about systemic lack of accountability and the government enabling criminal shit to happen. Scientology is a symptom. That's what it is. Scientology is a fucking symptom. That's all it is. They're nothing special. It's not all about Scientology. Frankly, none of it really is about Scientology. It's about total lack of fucking government accountability and government collusion conspiring with different criminal rackets to allow criminal shit to happen. That's what fucking this whole thing is about. I don't know why people can't see that, or frankly, I've seen some that are so fucking entitled to think that it's exclusively just about Scientology and only about Scientology. Those people are utter clowns and they're utter fucking morons. Truly. And the best part is you can take a look at some of the legendary reporting and journalism work that Mark Bunker and his generation of reporters did, and you'll find actually very little of it actually had to do with Scientology. Vast majority of it was about corrupt development deals by the city, where some of it obviously was being sponsored by Scientology, but again, the crux was government accountability. That's how you sell it to people. Most people fucking know Scientology is batshit crazy. Most people know that. Okay? What they don't know is how the government is enabling them to continue to be batshit crazy and to do criminal shit. That's what they don't know. And that's the next step. That's the most important step. How the government continues to collude and conspire to make this shit happen. That's the real fucking work. And most annoying shit is I've reached out to a whole bunch of other people in different cities in California, pleading with them to attend their local events. Kelly, how many fucking times have I pleaded with you to attend the board meetings for LADWP? How many fucking times have I pleaded with you to attend at least one LADWP event? How many times? And not just Kelly. Other people that are also in the Sacramento area who showed up when Scott was out there during his cooking tour. I've pleaded with them as well to fucking go to their events in Sacramento for the city and state events. I mean, for fuck's sake, they have the assembly in Sacramento. Or to join one of the state bar calls virtually. They don't do it. They don't fucking do it. So why should any of us care? If you're not going to advocate other than doing weird fucking parasocial fucking streams, why the fuck should any of us care, and why are you relevant? Why? And why is it that anybody should be pleading with you to fucking do your civic duty to lobby your government? What? Is it because you honestly believe these stupid sentiments? Like I've heard that Scott say, where, oh, you know how many times other people have gone to city council and they've talked about the street? You know, they're not gonna care. They're not gonna care. It's a drop in the water, drop in the bucket. They're not gonna care. You're an idiot. That's the fucking answer. You're an idiot. It was precisely because of the fucking advocacy efforts to show up that we had orders issuing the removal as well as the prosecution of fucking fines. Exactly the reason why I pleaded with people in the Sacramento area to go to the LADWP board meetings to talk about the fucking reckless waste of water. That's where the LADWP board is stationed. You can tune in live. Unfortunately, they won't take public comment remotely, but they only take it in person. You're telling me not one person from Sacramento could go to a LADWP meeting? Not one? Not one person just fucking once could take a half day from work at least one time to go to a fucking meeting? Are you serious? I mean, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Stupid. So yeah, those are the people who are irrelevant, Scott. People like you, who you had some good runs here and there, but by and large, your behavior is shit, and the rest of the other people, their behavior is shit because it's not consistent. And you're not actually doing any consistent journalistic work, right? Where you're going and pleading with government, and inevitably when they don't follow up, that's where all the court shit kicks in, Scott, Kelly, and others, Pearl. That's where all the court shit kicks in. If you were serious, that's what you would do, right? If your public comment gets suppressed, you file your state's equivalent to cure and corrects. And then you stockpile it up. And then you do what I just did recently, earlier this week, which is send out over a dozen letters, official letters, as a final attempt, both to the feds and to the state and to the city reps, about the repeated suppression of public comments and the cancellation of public government meetings without any sort of due notice. And inevitably, when they don't follow up with it, that's when you sue, right? That's the natural progression. That's real journalistic integrity, and that's real journalistic work. That's where the court shit comes in. That's what it actually fucking looks like. That's what successful activism actually looks like. That's what a real professional looks like. A real professional is like the people that fucking made Senate Bill 158 happen. Particularly Chanel, Deb, and their organization, Stand Against Fear and Exploitation. That's the real fucking work right there. That's the real fucking work. Not gossiping with a bunch of internet degenerates on a panel and spending 6+ hours on it, doing nothing but just being sleazy degenerates, talking about completely irrelevant shit. This is the real work right here. Attending those meetings, stating your case. That's what you do. So yeah, nobody in Sacramento has done fuck all in that regard. Nobody. Not Kelly, nor any of the other folks in Sacramento. They haven't done shit. That's the fucking... Those are the irrelevant people. You want to talk about irrelevant? Those are the irrelevant people, Scott. Just because somebody has some good points here and there doesn't mean that gives you infinite positive getaway jail-free cards. That's not how that works. And this utter obsession with an internet chat. Fuck the internet chat. I don't give a shit about the internet chat. The reality is it's less than 1% of people who actually help. Whether they be giving screen captures, clarifying something I might have missed, or better yet, actually filing cure and corrects. Or doing public records requests. That's like less than 1% of people. The rest are weirdos, some law enforcement that are just screen capping everything, and then a shitload of Scientology bots, man. You don't think that your stream of, I don't know, 400 people, bro, at least 50 of them are law enforcement just screen capping your shit. Like, I mean, minimum 50 of them. The rest are a fuckload of Scientology bot accounts. And then the small core dozen or so toxic granny crew, right? And by the way, if you don't think that they're not going to prosecute all the other weirdos that you send after people, Scott, that disagree with you, you're even dumber than I thought. Because they are. I mean, it's so blatantly clear, man. Like, it's so blatantly clear. It's pretty clear that you have this pattern of strict and severe fucking control, where if somebody has the audacity to publicly criticize you and go against you, it's not that you just go after them, Scott. You do what fucking Scientology does, and you have this need to fucking ruin them. So that's why people call you a Scientology agent, because that's literally what you do to people. What you did to Josiah is fucked up. No other adult in their right mind would have done what you did to that poor young man. It was so clear. He was in utter desperate crisis. I just, that's unforgivable. Okay? That's just unforgivable. It's totally fucked. There's no coming back from that, man. And that's the problem, Scott. These aren't one-off incidents. This is a whole fucking pattern with you. You know, nobody owes you shit, Scott. This fucking need for control you have is out of a severe insecurity you have. And this is your way of coping with shit. And it's not going to work this time around. It's game over, Scott. Your little cult army is all fucked too. You don't get to do this shit to people and not be prosecuted for it, man. It's moronic and it's stupid. And you know it. You know you fucked up big, Scott. You know it. You really fucked up big, Scott. It's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. So yeah. That's the update. Case is gone. Hydee fucked up. And Scott knows, along with the rest of his cult army, that they're in a heap of shit. I mean, it's over. It's over. I don't agree with all the charges in Scott's case. Frankly, a lot of them are utterly stupid. But that felony vandalism on the planter box is utter. That one's sticking, man. That one is absolutely sticking. And I don't even know why you pushed so hard to immediately go to trial. I really don't understand that one. For both cases, you tried running roughshod. I just don't get it. There was no need to push that shit so fast. But you did. And that's what you did in the RO case too. You keep burning your own cases, Scott. You keep burning your own cases. And I just saw somebody said, you thought it was the court making that decision to go to trial this quickly. No. That's what people don't understand. The defendant has the power in criminal cases. They have the power in criminal cases to say, I'm not fucking ready. I need more time to get ready for my shit. I need more time. Only if you move for a speedy trial then the court must obey the demand for a speedy trial. That's what leverage you have in criminal cases. That's how criminal cases fucking work. That's the one universal aspect of criminal cases all across the US. He moved for speedy trial. Okay, speedy trial it is. Oh, but I'm not ready yet. I need to do motions. This is court shit 101, man. From the self-proclaimed fucking legal expert, Scott. What the fuck are you doing? So yeah, it's game over. My case is totally dropped. Hydee took a big fucking L, and it's gonna bite her career in the ass. And over the dumbest case too. And this is why dumb cases like this are so legendary, because it shows such egregious behavior. So yeah, it's game over for Hydee. It's game over for Scott. And like it's been said before, this is the weeding out process. People that don't really give a shit, that want to be more so some sort of like hobbyist streamer rather than a journalist and or an activist. People that see this as a game versus people that understand and know and or are willing to learn how to actually fucking do real activist work. And for those that are complaining that there are so few of people that are actually doing it, as it rightfully should be, because there are shitloads of incompetent people. Do you honestly think, for example, Senate Bill 158, only Chanel, hey, what up, Will? Only Chanel and Deb and their organization, not foundation, organization, Stand Against Fear and Exploitation, only they could have competently put together Senate Bill 158 and actually have it be ratified as law. Do you think that the Toxic Granny crew is capable of doing some shit like this? Fuck no. Fuck no. The beautiful part, again, just like Serge mentioned, where he's moving forward with civil litigation, this is the kind of shit right here, Senate Bill 158, that will be pointed to when inevitably Scientology gets asked, when you, Scientology, found out and you knew that XYZ person were child predators, why the fuck did you not do anything? Why is it that these people had to suffer and we, the state, were not told? Why is it that other states like Utah have things like Senate Bill 158 and you thinking you can get away free with all this shit? That's what happens here. That's what happened. Senate Bill 158 is fucking legendary. That's Crazy Love is Love Audit. That's Deb, her partner, over at the Stand Against Fear and Exploitation. You want something to do? Cover Senate Bill 158. Go fucking interview them. Learn how they busted their ass to make sure that this became a fucking bill, became an actual law. Go follow them. Go cover this shit. And the dozens of fucking thousands of hours of footage that Audit and I have of city government officials doing corrupt shit, go cover that. Go do your public records requests. Go call them out on their shit. Go ask Hydee why she didn't prosecute Wendell. Go ask Chief McDonald why the fuck his own officers, quote, because Wendell touched himself next to a tree, it didn't count as sexual harassment of a minor, end quote. Ask Jim McDonald and ask Hydee why that's the fucking case. You want something to do? Go and ask them that. Go ask Hydee why they're allowing a Scientology agent child predator to not be prosecuted. Go ask Jim McDonald the same fucking shit. And ask them repeatedly. Ask Hugo where it happened in his district. Why he's not up in arms about a child predator getting away with doing this shit. Why he is allowing the city attorney's office to not prosecute and investigate and hold the guy that utterly battered Chris that night next to a fucking police station. You ask them that. That's what you can do. Those are real helpful and next steps to actually make a fucking difference. Not taking a goddamn big ass pair of pliers or whatever the fuck else and cutting up a planter and taking a fucking hammer and destroying it. That's some clown shit. Totally inept. Just because you say it loud doesn't mean you know what the fuck you're talking about. That's what you do. Right now, okay? Right now. Right now, I'm tuning in. I'm tuning in right now. Who do I see live right now? I see Sticker Chick live. What is Sticker Chick doing right now? One of Scott's cronies. She's on a panel of fucking weirdos, and all they're doing is circle jerking each other, talking about the most irrelevant, useless shit. A self-proclaimed activist, Sticker Chick, in the DC area. This is what she fucking dedicates her time to. I saw on her channel. She's got a fucking 7-hour stream where all she's doing is going after this one woman named Vaughn. This creep, weird fucking obsession is degeneracy at its finest. This is what these people are using their time, energy, and resources toward. This is who Scott's posse is. Degenerates. This is peak degeneracy. They literally have made complete and total fan pages, and they're not even fan pages, where they just harass the same few people over and over again. And for some reason, I don't know why, they think they're going to get away with it this time. I don't know where this degeneracy is coming from, or if degeneracy is just what the core aspect of these people are, but this is what they're choosing to do. 7-hour streams, utterly obsessing over the most asinine and irrelevant shit, and doing nothing of value. And they fucking know it. Utterly stupid. Utterly stupid. So yeah, anyway. That's all I got, man. I have a whole write-up. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But believe you me, when I give my word for something, I fucking do it. I have a whole write-up planned out. Shitloads of exhibits that I'm going to put together nicely. And tell you what, I have Hydee's divorce case too. I know the LA Times a while back alluded to it because some of the people from Watch the Watchers had brought up the case during Richie Sergienko's prosecution, but they didn't get the whole case. I have the whole case, and I have the full 1,200-page declaration that outlines why Citibank kicked her the fuck out. Hydee is not. She's not a good person. Okay, she's just beyond the corruption. She's just not a good person. Her divorce case is far much more than divorce. And one of the most interesting things about the divorce case is that she was sanctioned $250,000 for malicious prosecution. Go fucking figure. Is anybody surprised? Right? Her paranoia of totally baseless claims had her writing out hundreds of subpoenas to people that had nothing to do with her divorce case. She dragged on her divorce case and put her ex-husband through some of the most grueling shit I've ever seen, ever, let alone in just a divorce case. That's who Hydee is, though. That's what the people need to know. Hydee got slapped with a $250,000 sanction for a malicious prosecution for doing frivolous shit. And anyway, that's the work. That's the important shit. That's what you can do. So with that, I'll leave it there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Again, thank you all to those that supported the funds for the court case. We fucking knocked it out of the park. All wins, baby. All fucking wins. All right? All wins. Nobody has had any convictions criminally in this entire fucking time of Scientology activism. Nobody, including me. Nobody. We're going to keep it that way. All right. See ya.